Paul, it's Monday. I'm sure you can guess where I'm going to start. Have you watched the game tape back from Saturday? Any final thoughts on the game at Barnsley?
No, I was pretty pleased with my summary after the game, really. I watched it back. Thought the same. I thought we were just a little bit too safe first half. When we had options to go forward, and I appreciate sometimes when you go forward, you risk giving the ball away, but we went sideways, backwards a little bit. They pressed us really well. They're a really young, energetic side, and every time we went sideways and backwards, they came after us, and we went back to Joe, and we didn't really have an outlet as a 9, a back to play 9, so the ball just kept coming back. And if you watch their first goal, it comes from us, throwing it backwards, going back, clearing it, then putting the ball in the box, and then we head it to the outside the box, and they score, a brilliant finish. But it's just, so I wasn't over the moon about the psychology of our play, it's probably best to say it that way. First half, although we did create, a couple of good chances, a couple of good set pieces, Birdie might have been able to play that in, but then I thought second half we just had a bit more impetus about us. I thought we played a lot better, a lot brighter, and apart from one shot from outside the box down the left and the corner they scored, I don't think they threatened our goal really. So that was the disappointing thing, but I just thought it was a really close game between two teams that felt first half that neither team wanted to lose, whereas, I like to set our teams out to go and try and strangle the opposition and try and win from the outset, but that wasn't the case on Saturday. I just didn't think we were right at it first half. Without, being bad, we just weren't as good as I would like.
Portsmouth dropped points, Bolton lost. Does that make it more or less frustrating, or do you try not to sort of go through that?
I mean, I don't want to sound like Daniel Farke here, but I do love Daniel Farke. But you just have to worry about your own games, don't you? So I've said all along, between now and the end of the season, although we intend to win every game, you're not going to win every game. So don't get too, extreme about the league. Don't get too het up about it. However, when you come off, obviously I knew Barnsley had won anyway. I'm that clever. So they'd won, so there's nothing I can do about that. I know Stevenage won, and I know everybody else in the... Oxford didn't win, right, Bolton didn't win. Got a player sent off, Portsmouth drew, Charlton obviously. So it wasn't bad, but then the other part of your brain, you're right, you think, if we would have won. I mean, there's a lot of ifs in football, isn't there? So over the course of the season, if you do get up, you thoroughly deserve it. And, it was a completely different game to the previous one, as we thought. And fair play to Barnsley, they'd done enough on the day to win.
Busy week to come, 2 home games, both against struggling sides, both with new managers. Sort of week where you have to be right on it, I guess.
Yep, it's weird playing against. Every team poses different questions, different threats, and not strangely, but this time of the year, unless you play a team that are 12th and already got their passports out, which I don't think there's anyone yet really, they've got another reason to get points. These 2 games coming up, they're fighting for their League One status. Like Charlton are just above it, but played the most games, and obviously with Shrewsbury's win at the weekend as well has an effect. Darren's obviously desperate to get his first win on the board as well, and they need wins desperately, and So they're both. What I do know is that both managers, because I know them both really well, both will have their teams set up and make it really difficult. So if we're going to pick up points, we're going to have to be at our very best, which I say every week, I know. But if you look at Charlton, if I talk about them, and we'll worry about the other ones later in the week, but if I look at Charlton, their last 7, 8 games, they haven't had a win. They've drawn loads, drawn about 4, I think. But if you look at the opposition they've played, it probably puts it into context a bit. Like they drew at home to Pompey at the weekend. The game could have gone either way. They probably should have won at Bolton. They drew 3-3. So it's not like, they're scrapping around for points, because their performances have been quite good. They've probably played the top teams, and we're probably the end of this. And then, but they will definitely come hoping to pick up all 3.
Yeah, not long since you last faced Charlton. I think they appointed Nathan Jones the very next day. They look as though they turned a corner under him, performance-wise. Yeah, I didn't think that they were horrific before that, really. If you look at their actual playing staff, their squad is very good. They're underachieving for whatever reason. Sometimes it's injury, form, confidence. The classic one for everybody in the room is the manager's fault. That's the easiest one to solve, and changing the manager is the cheapest way to change things. But sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. Nate's an experienced manager that's gone in. So their actual form, so to speak, probably isn't a lot different
and he's changed it, and they've signed, spent some proper money in January as well. So, and I do know it will turn a corner, just hopefully not before Wednesday.
I know whenever you don't win a game or lose a game, people like me will ask, what are you going to change? What are you going to do differently? Yeah. You mentioned earlier taking a few more risks. Is that maybe the only area that you're really looking at the moment?
Yeah, well, I mean, you can ask the lads. We set up to try and win every game. So whoever we're playing against, we just literally want to go from the outset. And I, try and put that across to the lads. And sometimes that comes out, and sometimes it doesn't. However, it's not like we're playing darts. I know it sounds a bit of a stupid thing to say, but darts, you're literally playing against yourself. I know you're playing against someone, but like if you want with darts, if you have the first throw, you win the leg, don't you? Because you can do a 9-dart finish like I do all the time. So, whereas with football, you can have the best intention to start out and try and grab hold of the game and be the team on top, but the opposition have got their own plans and that. So, the things that there's certain like tactical nuances that we always try and like change or freshen up, or refresh is probably the better way to put it, and reset. So, over the last couple of games we've tried to change the way our set pieces look, and we looked a bit more of a threat, but then if you do them ones for so many weeks, then they tire, so you try and tweak that. You try and treat personnel, because, to go back to back to back, so my excuse is probably the best way to put it, shortest way to put it anyway. It was last year, I think we played the same players week in, week out. The best players always played, but by the end of the season they were just shattered. So, it does need sometimes just, not that if you suddenly start Saturday and are on the bench tomorrow, I don't think you're a good player. I just think that this player needs to come and play a bit and all that. So there's a few things you can do without fundamentally changing a great deal. And, hand on heart, there wasn't a great deal wrong with our performance on Saturday. So we don't have to, throw everything away. We've had 10 points in 5 games, which I'm happy with, and we just need to keep that going. So we're not going to change a lot, but sometimes you just need a change of energy or a little tweak that can have a big impact. Just finally, injury-wise, anything we need to know? No, not really. Obviously, Waggy and, well, not obviously, but Waggy and Corey, I not rested them, but chose not to take them at the weekend, so they're roaring to go for tomorrow night. So they've trained really well today. And there's no new issues of note. So, no, I've got a really strong team to pick from. I should have really good options on the bench if need be, and hopefully that'll be a really good night. And hopefully, and I said this, and I can definitely say this with complete confidence, the fans were amazing with the team on Saturday, and the fact that we'd lost and they got clapped off, you go in the dressing room, the lads are really downbeat, but they're like determined to, put it right tomorrow night for everyone who supported them. So if the fans can get behind the team again tomorrow, I'd really appreciate it, because you only had to look at the League Cup yesterday with the Liverpool fans getting behind their team. It makes a massive difference. And like Leeds, Leicester Friday night, I'm going through a lot of games here, aren't I? But hopefully we can put a performance on that gets the fans excited, that then gets the players even better, and that's our intention with these 2 home games. See if we can pick up maximum points, which would make everyone at the football club very happy.